Greetings, everyone. I want to talk about the energies of the upcoming full moon on September 29th. This will be the final supermoon of 2023. And because it is a supermoon, we will feel the energies of this full moon in a very powerful way. So let's look at the chart and see what the energies are of this powerful moon. The full moon will take place with the moon at 6 degrees of Aries and the sun at 6 degrees of Libra. You can see from the chart how much energy we have at the time of this full moon in Libra and Aries. And this full moon comes 6 days after we've had the equinox on the 23rd, which is that time of the balance of the light and dark. And we're seeing these energies of Libra and Aries powerfully present at the time of this full moon. Interestingly, the Sabian symbol for the full moon at 6 degrees of Aries is about a person being able to express themselves in two worlds at the same time. The meaning of the Sabian symbol for the sun at 6 degrees of Libra is about the power of our visualization and how are we taking responsibility for what we focus on and for what is our responsibility in terms of what is in our care. So I see the energy of this full moon guiding us to be aware of how we are in this powerful time of transition and transformation. We are still experiencing this profound square of Pluto with the lunar nodes now through the end of the year. And then Pluto will be moving into Aquarius towards the end of January of 2024. But we have been experiencing this powerful square for months now, and it is about this critical karmic choice point for us individually and collectively. Are we living in balance in order to express ourselves in new ways that are about fostering balance, harmony, justice, truth? Remember that when Pluto is squaring the nodes, it's applying to the south node to activate the north node in this particular square. So Pluto is calling us into looking at how we are in that relationship with Libra energy in order to be expressing ourselves, Aries, our individual expression coming out of that Libra energy of being in right relationship with ourselves, each other, with all of life. Let me talk for a moment about Libra and how it is associated with the energies of Ma'at, that ancient Egyptian deity who really was guiding us into that principle, that understanding that we need to be conscious and aware of how we are living our lives, how we are acting, the decisions that we're making, and do they foster harmony, peace, truth, justice, or are we operating from a place of ego or a place of being out of balance or in a power over dynamic such that we're fostering disharmony, falsehoods, destruction? They understood that the more we're taking that individual responsibility to be living in harmony, the more then we foster that in our community. We foster that in the world, and we are then actually living in harmony and balance with the life around us. This is what the natural world tries to teach us in its understanding of the importance of our realizing our interconnectedness and our interdependence. We are part of the oneness of all that is and of the life around us. And these principles of Ma'at guide us in how to be acting in right harmony, in balance with each other, with ourselves, with all that is. The principles of Ma'at Ma'at were framed in terms of how at our time of death would we face Ma'at as we were transitioning into the underworld, to have our hearts put on the scale, measured against the feather, to be looking at ways in which we had weighed ourselves down by those ways that we acted out of balance, out of right harmony. And the principles of Ma'at were framed in terms of how we could speak at that time of death to say, I have not harmed others. I have not spoken untruths. But I've listed a site below that gives us a modern understanding of those principles of Ma'at from Lady Vigne, who is a priestess of the Temple of Isis, who's helping us frame how we can make these commitments, take on these responsibilities to live in harmony and balance in a positive way. So some of how she's reframed those principles of Ma'at are with principles, rules such as, I care for the earth. I relate in peace. I live in truth. I affirm that life is sacred. I create harmony. Think about that, and think about how this full moon is guiding us to look at what we're visualizing. What are we focusing on? What are we fostering? What are the energies that we're emanating that are a part of what's creating the reality around us? And I think it's interesting that the full moon at 6 degrees of Aries is the Sabian symbol that is about how are we expressing ourselves in two realms. I think part of the challenge of this time that we're in, this profound time of transition, as we move into the age of Aquarius, as we're moving out of this 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, the time of disconnection, the time of disharmony, we are being guided to straddle the worlds, to realize we're still in these old paradigms that are now being deconstructed by the energy of Pluto in Capricorn, to be transitioning into these energies of Aquarius, these new paradigms that are about living in harmony, in balance, honoring the sacredness of the life around us. But we're straddling the worlds right now. And for many of us, it's challenging to be dealing with the dysfunction and the disharmony and the storminess of the third dimensional reality, while we can visualize and sense and more feel the possibilities of fifth dimensional reality that is about our being energy beings, beings of light and love, living in harmony, living in that interconnectedness that is about balance, is about justice and truth. So I think this super full moon is helping us pay attention to how we straddle being in these two worlds as we're transitioning into these new ways of being, into this higher consciousness. And let me return to the chart to give us more guidance about how do we work with that. Again, the focus is with this powerful square with Pluto to look at our own lives. Mars is conjunct the South Node in Libra. How are we acting? How are we fostering balance, harmony, truth, justice? Or how are we out of balance? It's significant that Mars is opposite Chiron, and Chiron is supporting us in how to heal and release our old paradigms of ways we've been caught in causing harm to others, to ourselves, or to the earth. So Chiron's supporting us in healing and transforming how we're behaving so that we are more in balance. And then again, the North Node in Aries is conjunct Arizina, their only a minute apart at the time of this full moon. And Erisina is that planet that guides us in how to step out of the patterns of the past, how to step out of conventional ways of doing things, how to be moving in new directions that are fostering these paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about balance and harmony and justice. I think it's also significant that Pallas Athene is conjunct the sun opposite the moon, helping us tap into our own inner knowing, our own creative intelligence, our own capacity to be visualizing what it is that we want to foster in the world, these new patterns that are about peace and caring for each other and collaboration and living in harmony with the sacredness of the life around us. So as you work with the energies of this full moon, I encourage you to be visualizing what it is we're trying to co-create together as we move towards this new earth, these new paradigms, this higher consciousness. And I'm including below this video a link to Pam Gregory's recent video where she, in a beautiful way, is describing how we can gather together as a community of light workers around the globe to be visualizing, co-creating this new earth that we want to be a part of together. So I encourage you to watch that video. She talks about gathering on Sundays for 15 minutes at 7 p.m. UK time. But I would encourage you to remember that within this time frame, we can co-create energetically together across the globe, and even if it's not at the exact same time. I encourage you at some point during that 24-hour period to take time in your own individual meditation or in group with others to be visualizing what is it that we want to co-create together to foster this new earth that is characterized by love, peace, harmony, balance. And I encourage you at that time to tune into your heart. We need to be living from the heart and not from our minds. And as we tune into our hearts, we can synchronize our heartbeat with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. We can synchronize our hearts with the heartbeat of the cosmos. And then we're actually allowing the consciousness of the earth, the consciousness of the cosmos to be co-creating with us. We then are in service to those energies that are larger than ourselves. We are coming back into balance with the harmony of the spheres, and then together co-creating these new ways of being. And let me show you some other planetary bodies that are critical at the time of this full moon. Again, I know this gets complicated when I bring in the Kuiper Belt objects, some of the other asteroids, some of the other planetary bodies, but let me point out a few that I think are of importance at the time of this full moon. If you look, you can see that there is actually a grand square with this full moon. The sun is conjunct Maki Maki, which is opposite the moon. They're squaring Vesta and Chaos here in the early degrees of Cancer. And opposite Ixion, Pholus, and the Kuiper Belt object Quaoar. So what does this mean? When we have Maki Maki in such a powerful placement, conjunct the sun, opposite the moon, Maki Maki is the third largest dwarf planet. It's named after the creation deity of the Easter Island people. And it signifies this creation deity that fosters life, protects life, guides us in how to live in right relationship with the earth. And Maki Maki was also about being in this earthly realm, but also He was the deity who would greet the people after death to support them in journeying into the afterlife. So Makemake straddles the realms of this incarnational realm and the realm of the afterlife. So it is again supporting us in holding our awareness of how are we living on the earth plane, in our embodiment here. Are we in sacred right relationship with the earth? Makemake is guiding us in how to be living in harmony and balance, and to remember that we are soul selves having this human experience. And it is important for us to be guided by those principles of harmony and balance, and aware of what we're fostering now and for the coming generations. This configuration is squaring Vesta and Chaos, which are opposite Ixion, Pholus, and Quawar. I think this combination, as I've talked about in an earlier video, is in a profound way supporting us in looking at what this choice point is that we're in with Pluto squaring the nodes. Ixion is a reflection of what happens if we continue to live in a dysfunctional, out of balance way in the world as humanity. Ixion represented in mythology this character who acted out of arrogance and ego, kills his father-in-law, is offered the chance to redeem himself, disregards it, continues to foster his own narcissistic, self-absorbed, ruthless, destructive way of being. It's right next to Pholus, which is that centaur, as Melanie Reinhardt would say. Its theme is the lid comes off. What is it that we're carrying from our ancestral lineage that we need to take responsibility for and heal? We need to heal these ways that, like Ixion, we've been operating on the earth plane as if we can do whatever we want. We can be as destructive as we want. We can harm each other. We can destroy the earth and get away with it. And Pholus is saying the lid is coming off. It's time to face the consequences. It's time to heal. And Quawar is there exactly squaring the sun and moon at 6 degrees of Capricorn, saying this is how you can come back into balance. Quawar is that extraordinary deity of the Native American people that lived thousands of years ago in Southern California. Quawar was that deity that integrated the ancient sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, that was the creation deity that would sing everything into being and then call the mountains, the rivers, the animals, the plants, the humans into that song that is about harmony, balance, the beauty of living in harmony with the spheres, with the cosmos, and with the earth. And if we don't heal and change these paradigms from the past to be singing that song of harmony together, we will foster chaos. Vesta is really guiding us to listen to our inner fire, our inner knowing, to be healing those ways that we have been in chaos, have been in disharmony, have been out of balance. So this full moon is supporting us in this transition as we're in this messy time of the death of the paradigms of the past and birthing new ways of being, moving into these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, moving into this higher consciousness that is about our being able to co-create a new earth together. And let me show you where this full moon is in the sky. So the full moon is here in the part of the sky called the waters, beneath the stars of Pisces, close to the stars of Cetus, close to Neptune, which was so prominent at the time of the new moon. The full moon here on the part of the sky called the waters is reminding us that we can come back into balance and harmony as we remember the sacredness and consciousness of the waters of the earth, the source of life, of all that is. And if you haven't seen my conversation with Veda Austin, with Randy Hatton, my recent conversation with Keone Hanalei, please watch those. They are in such a profound way guiding us to come back into a deep remembrance and awareness of the sacredness of water, the inner earth waters, as Keone talks about, and Veda and Randy talk beautifully about the living waters of the earth, the living waters within us, how the waters are the source of all that is. Remembers we're moving into the age of Aquarius. It is the water bearer pouring the living waters of wisdom, of life, of source to the earth, the living energies in us and all around us. So this full moon is supporting us in remembering to come back into right harmony with the consciousness, the sacredness of the waters. And the waters can guide us back into right balance, right harmony. Again, as we attune to the consciousness of the earth, of the waters, of the cosmos, they call us back into balance. They remind us how we can remember our interconnectedness and oneness with all that is. Then we're in that mystery and magic and wonder of being part of the creation of cosmic consciousness, part of the harmony of the spheres. At the time of this full moon, the sun is in the stars of Virgo, and close to the arm of the harvest goddess, holding the sheaf of wheat, which is where Spica is, and Mars is now there at the time of this full moon. So again, I think this is very much a reminder of how are we in alignment with the energies of the earth. And Virgo is that harvest goddess that is supporting us in realizing how the earth nurtures us, sustains us, and how we in turn can be in service with our gifts and what we express in the world. And again, remember, the energy of this full moon is about how do we realize we live in these two realms, the realm of embodiment, the realm of spirit, of cosmic consciousness, but also I think it's these two realms, two worlds of the paradigms of the past and what we're moving into as we move into the paradigms of the Aquarian age. So this full moon is supporting us in looking at what are we manifesting in our lives, and is it in service to this co-creation of a new earth, a higher consciousness, a way in which we come back into balance and harmony together. So at the time of this full moon, I encourage you to pay attention to your dreams, tune in to your own inner experience, listen to your own inner knowing and the guidance of the earth and sky and these energies of the full moon in how they're supporting you to look at what patterns, what ways of behavior, what ways of acting do you need to change to be more in balance with your true self, to be more in alignment with your soul self, to be fostering balance, harmony, peace, love, truth, justice in your life and in how you're interacting with others. I think part of the challenge of this Pluto square, the lunar nodes in Libra and Aries, is both to help us focus and take responsibility for what we're emanating into the world, for what we're fostering around us, for how our hearts and our actions are either reflecting that energy of love, harmony, compassion, gratitude for the sacredness of the life around us, or are coming out of those old paradigms of dysfunction that are about a survival mentality and a power over competition, exploitation, destruction paradigm. Part of the challenge of straddling the realms, of straddling the way in which we're coming out of the paradigms of the past, but have not yet fully moved into these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, is that we often, those of us that are conscious, feel like we're straddling two earths. The one that we're co-creating together that is fostering these new ways of being, and the one that's still in chaos and increasingly more dysfunctional. And I think part of the challenge is to take enough time to meditate, to keep coming back into alignment with your heart. Spend as much time as you can in nature. Attune your heart to the heartbeat of the earth. She herself is in a transformational process and will hold us and guide us and help us to heal and move into these new ways of being. Pull in the energy of the moon and the energies of the planets and the stars to support you in this energy that is guiding us, this cosmic consciousness that's supporting us in healing and transforming. So I would encourage you, as we're straddling this time of transition and you come up against situations, I've been in a pretty intense one myself in the last few weeks where I'm having to deal with these paradigms of this third dimensional reality that feel to me increasingly more insane and out of balance. So part of what I've been trying to do in navigating that, and I think this supermoon is helping us with that, is tuning into what action do I need to take in relationship to this situation that is allowing me to be in my truth and in right harmony and in right balance. And in what way in this situation do I need to say, no, I am not going to defer to this situation. I am not going to accommodate those in authority who are functioning in ways that are out of balance, that are destructive. I take responsibility for my own choices around my medical care, around what ways I interface with the legal system, what ways I interface with the political system. I take responsibility for myself and my choices so that I am listening to my own heart, my own inner knowing, and making decisions and taking actions that foster my being in balance and that foster my being in harmony with the sacredness of the life around me. And I choose to say no and not participate in situations that foster disharmony, that foster destruction of the earth, that foster harm to others. I say no. I think that's the power of this time that we're in, and this supermoon and the energies of Libra, opposite Aries. How do we choose balance and harmony and act from that place? And that means looking at what we say yes to and what we foster, what we emanate, what we co-create, and what we say no to. I will not participate in that. I will not participate in falsehood. I will not participate in causing harm. I will not participate in the exploitation of the earth. So let us together as a community, I am so deeply grateful for this community and how we are fostering this healing web around the globe and how we can connect heart to heart and support each other in standing firm in saying no to disharmony and destruction and standing in alignment with the earth and the cosmos, our own hearts, and our interconnectedness with each other, and our fostering our interconnectedness with the sacredness of the life around us, to say, this is what we say yes to. This is what we co-create together. These are the paradigms that we are willing to participate in and strengthen and help grow, because this is the new earth that we are going to be co-creating with each other, with the natural world, with the planetary energies, with the galactic energies. This is where, and I did a recent interview with Janice Montague about the People's Health Alliance here in the United States. The People's Health Alliance in UK fostered this program that's now spreading around the globe. And it is, again, how are we co-creating as a community around the globe, as light workers all around the planet, to say, this is the paradigm that we say yes to. People's Health Alliance, by the people, for the people, how we take responsibility for our health and support each other in what is actually healing and fostering health and balance in our bodies, balance in our relationship with the earth and all of the life around us. This is the choice point that we're in, individually and collectively. And each day, in little ways and big ways, we are making these choices. And I think it is important to remember these principles of Ma'at and how we can foster them and live from them in our lives, to be supporting that and becoming more and more the paradigm that we co-create together in our communities and in our global community. And I think it's also helpful to keep that image of Ma'at holding the scales, Libra, and how our heart is in one scale, the feather in the other. So as you're making choices or looking at how you're dealing with your own life, come back into connection with your heart and tune into, does this make my heart heavier, or does this make my heart lighter? What do I need to release? What do I need to release in healing the pain from the past? What do I need to release in terms of letting go of these dysfunctional patterns or harmful patterns I've been in relationship with myself, or in my dynamics with others, or in how I connect to the natural world? And how do I open to love, to joy, which lightens our heart, expands our consciousness, supports us in opening to the joy of living in the song of the spheres, of living in attunement with our soul song, living in harmony with the natural world around us, and being a part of the symphony of the spheres. This is the magic and wonder and joy that we're capable of, this lightness of being, if we release the paradigms of the past, if we come back into balance with ourselves, if we attune our hearts to the heartbeat of Mother Earth and the heart of the cosmos and the hearts of each other and all of the life around us. May we support each other in co-creating this new earth that is about love, truth, justice, harmony, balance, and oneness. Blessed be.